Well, I'm down the line. Of course, Mom and Dad had a blended family, and I'm down the line with everyone included. I'm number 7 down the line, and so I was a little bit more than in the middle. Make sure we're picking up.
That's better. Okay, well, I'm starting this off by just talking about past memories, past
Okay.
stories. I've interviewed your whole family, interviewed your brothers and sisters, and they've all told me some interesting stuff. And
Can't believe they're all true, but
and I mean, I'm just trying to get a gist of stories dealing with all parts of your life in the sense of when you were growing up with your siblings and with your family, with your children now. So
okay.
whenever you want to start.
Well, I think that let me get this turned off here so it's not interrupting us. Okay. Memories, wow. I have a lot of memories growing up. Growing up in a large family was always interesting, especially around the holidays. We always had good times. Mom and Dad always made Christmas especially special, and we have a lot of fond memories of getting up early in the morning on Christmas morning and waiting for Dad to ring the bells so that we could come downstairs and jump into the pile of presents that they always seemed to be under the tree. We always had good meals together and a lot of good fellowship around the table. And both Thanksgiving and Christmas are probably my most favorite holidays, and I have the fondest memories. Growing up with those holidays, of course, in upstate New York, we had a lot of fun in the snow. It seems like we used to get a lot of snow, and we really enjoyed sledding, particularly on the hills that surrounded our home in Watkins. And we used to go out, and Mom would bundle us up, and we'd go out and spend outside all day, usually if it was nice enough, and would freeze. But there was a bank that was down the hill from the sledding hill where we used to sled, and there was a bank, and they had a foyer, and we used to go inside the foyer and take off our mittens and put our hands on the boiler, on the radiator there in the foyer to get warm, and until the bank manager would come out and kick us out, and then we'd have to trudge back up the hill, either that or go home. So, but we used to have a lot of good times in Watkins. Man, the memories just flood back, especially with in the spring and the summertime when it would come. We would get into baseball season, and all of us Slater boys loved to play baseball, and we used to have a lot of fun playing baseball out in the street, and or down at the park, whichever. Usually we would get into some mischief if we played in the street because we had car windows around and house windows, but normally if Mr. Best or Mr. Haight didn't run us off from the street, we'd play in the street, but then other times we'd go down to the park and usually have a lot of pickup games where a lot of the neighborhood kids would come and we'd just play baseball until it got dark, and pretty much, well, other than supper time, we'd have to go home for supper, and then we'd try to get back out and play some more. But between baseball, we had Little League also that we played in the summer times down at the beach, and we'd play in that summer league, and so that was a lot of fun. We used to have a lot of good times with that. As far as memories, growing up, usually it seemed like there was always enough mischief and trouble to get into, and normally it was my brothers that usually led me that way. No, not really. It was normally me that was in the mischief. But we had one thing about a large family is if you did get in trouble, or if there was something that had been done wrong, and Dad was trying to find out who it was, at least you had a lot of brothers and sisters you could blame it on before they'd finally get to you. Oh, memories. As far as my sisters are concerned, most of my memories with my sisters revolved around, a lot of them revolved around chores. It seemed like we had a lot of chores to always do, and I would do my best to get out of chores. And so Grace was always the gullible one, and I normally could pawn my, get her to do my chores for me, especially if she'd allow me to pay her back the quarter that I owed her. And I used to tell her, I'll pay you back that quarter that I owe you if you'll do my chores. And so she'd do it, and that was her being gullible. My memories of my other sisters were, of course, Grace was younger than me, and Evie, and I have a lot of fond memories there. The other memories that I have as far as growing up, special ones that stick out in my mind, is all the traveling that we used to do. We used to have a lot of fun on family vacations, and it seems like Dad always took us to someplace every summer. He'd get a couple of weeks off, 2 or 3 weeks off in the summertime, and those were really special times because Dad always worked hard, and he had a lot of the time that he had was spent when we lived in New York, was spent on his Jewel T route. And so summer times were nice because we had Dad all to ourselves on those vacations, and he would take us to different places throughout the United States. Mostly, if it was free, Dad took us. So we saw just about every battlefield there was to see and every historical park, and we stayed in a lot of state parks and camped. And first we started in a tent, and then we graduated to a Coleman pop-up trailer, and then from there we graduated to a Terry a travel trailer. And but regardless, it always was usually in a campground, or especially a state park, and again, because it was cheap and with a lot of kids. So we would caravan to those places, and normally every year we saved our money up, and during those summer vacations we'd go and to an amusement park of some sort. So we went to a lot of the old amusement parks, not some of your less common ones, not ones that are even in existence anymore. I'm not talking about like Six Flags over Georgia or Disney World or anything like that. But the cheaper amusement parks where we would go, and would go to Atlantic City a lot, and go to the pier there, and to the boardwalk, I mean, and to, it seems like there was an amusement park there off the boardwalk that we used to go to, and so fond memories of Atlantic City that we used to go and be on the beach. And then sometimes we'd go to Florida and visit Grandpa, and visit down in Florida. We went to Gatorland and to some of the off the beaten path, some of the old attractions. We would go and have a lot of fun there. And but Disneyland and things, we didn't really go to Disneyland or Disney World until we got older. And once we got older, once we moved to Florida, we had some memories of going to Busch Gardens and to some of those attractions. And we used to always have a good time. Dad always seemed to enjoy that, and Mom, and we used to have a good time traveling together. But those are some of my fonder memories. I have a lot of fond memories, and going to the Bill Rice Ranch in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and we went there, and going to Winona Lake, Indiana. We went to a sword conference there one year, and I got to meet John R. Rice as an older boy, who I was named after, an evangelist I was named after, and we heard a lot of great preachers. Of course, I didn't appreciate it as much now, or then, as I do now in that heritage as far as that goes, but that Dad always seemed to think that that was important, that we have some time for spiritual refreshment in times for vacation spiritually. So he would drag us to camp meetings and to the Sword of the Lord conferences. When I was a real little boy, we used to go to Ontario Bible camp up in Ontario, and I have memories of that, although they are vague at times. I do remember as a little boy going